What's up, y'all? You're good here. Welcome back to my channel. Now, look, this is not how I usually record, but I just had to say something. I have not been super filled in reviewing Ready to Love this season. You know, Ready to Love definitely has been having its moments with me. And I said I was going to tune in and possibly review kind of like in and out a couple of episodes if I came across something, you know, that just kind of pushed me to talk about it. And finally, you know, an episode did. So I'm just gonna, you know, talk a little bit about the episode. I watched it about 1.5 times. So yeah, this is going to be kind of, you know, pretty quick. So I just had to say something because Blake, y'all, tell me when I say this, you're never going to unsee it. Tell me why I saw Blake and I'm like, what is it about him? What is he shaped like? Y'all can't tell me Blake ain't shaped like a piece of asparagus. With that goddamn square top mohawk, y'all cannot tell me that he does not belong on VeggieTales with these big ass bulging eyes. Y'all can't tell me he don't look like a piece of asparagus. You are not going to be able to unsee it now that I said it. But Blake, your exes came out anyway and talked about how narcissistic you were, and it doesn't take a genius to recognize that you were that since episode 1. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let me not run into Blake right now. Let me just wait till we actually get there. So basically, we pick up where we left off. They send Corvea home. The guys, you know, have been fighting over this power to basically save a girl. And so, Demetrius and Mark Anthony, I think, what's his name? Yeah, Mark Anthony, we're kind of going back and forth, or Demarius, is it Demetrius? I think it's Demetrius or Demarius. It's one of them, big eyes, buck teeth, him. We're going back and forth and they decide to send Corvea home. I mean, I can understand why they did, because honestly, Corvea is a woman who's like, I'm not going to put up with it. I'm going to expect the man to bring as much to the table as I do. And that be what it is. And a lot of these guys aren't used to that type of accountability and it scares them. I think Corvea went out the gate a little hard, and so it scared off a lot of the guys, because I do think she looked like a lot of their type, but I think just with how punctual she was speaking, how adamant she was speaking, to guys, they don't like that type of, you know, trait in a woman. Not saying like Corvea was, you know, not right in what she was saying, but her delivery, I think, just delivered too harsh to the guys. But yeah, so Corvea gets sent home, and so they have, like, I guess a debrief, and everybody just kind of sit down talking. We have, what's her name, Marcia, sitting down with, Sue-Ann and Mark Anthony and who else? And Sue-Ann basically called herself Rihanna mixed with Claire Huxtable. And it was kind of like, where's Rihanna and any of you? Y'all, when y'all see Miss Sue, okay? Miss Sue the attorney, does Rihanna pop up in your minds? Because it sure did for me. Like, I get it. You want to seem edgy. You want to seem like on the wild side, but you know, it's just not showing up, Miss Sue. But they basically were just sitting down talking about the process and, you know, dating multiple people. And, you know, obviously Sue in that situation with Blake, you know, she's feeling a little weird about it. So speaking of Blake pulls her to the side and he's like, you know, I just want to check up on you. Like, I know you would check up on me. And she was like, yes, of course. Now, first of all, the fact I knew Blake was guilty when the shit was said, but I knew he was hella guilty when Blake came and gave Sue-Ann that bracelet last week, that like golden pearl bracelet. I was like, you didn't even do anything. So what are you giving her an apology gift for? Because that's essentially what it was. He was like, oh yeah, you know, I just want to give you this for, you know, because you were just, you know, you handled everything so well with what happened, you know, with me and Jeffrey. And it's like, you're apologizing, kind of like an apology gift, but you said you didn't do anything. So what's the gift for? The fact that she already got a gift like that off of that situation with Jeffrey just was a tall tale sign. But of course, she's sticking up for her man, you know, Blake, big eyed Blake. She's basically like, Jeffrey was, you know, sometimes you can't talk to people. Sometimes, you know, you just got to let them go with whatever they go through. You know, sometimes you got to understand when in conflicts, you're not going to always, you know, get to the other person. It was just such, just her and Blake, like Blake, he tries to find the dummies. He tries to find the most feminine appearing, Claire Huxtable-ish type. And Jeffrey gives off that vibe, very, sweet, submissive, the typical, just, giddy housewife. I'll cook, I'll clean, all that type of stuff like that. Jeffrey was giving that. Plus, she already had kids. Blake doesn't want any more kids. Like, it makes sense that Jeffrey absolutely heard that from Blake. But nonetheless, Sue-Ann is ride or die for him. So they basically, turn up after, the whole elimination situation. Everybody's, drinking, having fun. But the problem is, somebody else talked on the boat. Oh, Cynthia and Anthony, y'all. Anthony was a little dark horse, y'all. So obviously Cynthia, was having her situation with Andre, but, she's like, I need to branch out. So Anthony, he just kind of sat with her and they had a good old conversation. I said, okay, let me find out Anthony. And don't always be the ones you don't think. They be coming in, from the back of the pack, and they just, with a good personality, good smile, and just, just tender love and care, they will swoop up and snatch your woman. All these guys that, obviously in the beginning seem like such the catch because they're good lookers, or, they have the physique that most women go for, which is the tall, broad, big guy. After their cracks start to show, the guys like Anthony, and Lyndon, they tend to come up and, sweep from the back because, women start to see the actual qualities in these guys. And of all the men, Lyndon, Anthony, and a touch of Andre are really the only ones that I've seen. Oh, and Blue are really like the only ones where I've seen like actual decent qualities in men that seem like actually partnership, worthy. But yeah, no. So, what happened after that? Let's see. Yeah, Anthony and Cynthia, they basically talk and Cynthia, I love Cynthia. Like, Cynthia is me. Cynthia is my ready to love, like spirit animal of all the women of all the seasons. Like, Cynthia just gives me good energy. And she gives me, like, I don't play it, but, like, should you be the right man, like, you can have it all. And that's honestly most women's mentality. It's just, niggas fuck it up. It's that simple. But yeah, no. So Anthony and Cynthia end up going out on a date later on in the episode. So after that, we do see, who did the dates first? Morgan and Tony, that's what it was. Tony and his, I don't like Tony. Tony talks like he wants to be Keith Sweat on The Quiet Storm, 8 o'clock at night. Like, I can't with his voice, with the Boston slow voice. Like, girl, you just look so beautiful, Like, I just can't. He always looks like he wants to talk smooth. Like, I don't get it. I don't like it. Morgan's buying it. I'm not. I'm returning to sender. I rebuke thee in the name of Jesus. But she's obviously, asking Tony what's going on. Tony, of course, want to know what's going on with her. And she's like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm feeling Lyndon. He's like, well, I don't even know about the other guys. Well, you asked about it, Nicole. Like, I'm going to tell you, you ain't the only one I'm interested in. These other guys is applying pressure. What a lot of guys don't understand. Like, women go where the pressure is applied. Yeah, I like you. But just know these other ones is coming up on that ass because they're actually... on this show, it's about checking in, constant communication. Obviously, behind the scenes, these people are messaging and texting each other. So it's like, y'all got to actually do the work. Other than just going out on these dates for TV. Like, behind the scenes, are y'all really talking, texting, catching up with each other? But Tony, he puts on his little smooth man talk. And she's like, well, what do you, why now? Like, because he asked her about what she sees in the future, and she was like, because I'm happy. Like, I'm happy with who I am. I have my job. I have these things in life now that I want to, sorry, y'all, my camera flipped. I have these things that I want to experience life with somebody else. So she asked him, and for Tony, I was like, oh, I got you. I know exactly what you're looking for. Tony basically said, because I'm just tired of, she was like, why now? He's like, because I'm just tired of waking up alone. I'm tired of going to bed alone. I'm tired of waking up alone. I'm just looking for that companion. Get a dog. Like, I look at Tony, and with him saying that, it made me realize exactly the woman. He's just looking for somebody to be there. He's not looking, because he didn't say nothing to the extent of like, oh, I want to build, I want to build wealth with somebody. I want to build, build this foundation and have kids, like he didn't say anything about like having a partner to work with, to build with, none of that. And it was just like, all you want is for a girl to be there. Like, that's it. Tony, I don't like him. What do y'all guys think? Drop down in the comments, tell me how you feel about Tony the Tiger. He kissed her. I didn't like it. I wouldn't have kissed him. And then when they got up, to say bye, he hugged her real tight. I don't know what you see in him, Morgan, but okay. I like Morgan, but So there's a date with what's her name? Marcia, yeah. Marcia, Blue, Blake, and Jeffrey. So this definitely was a setup date of, Marcia trying to get to know Blue, but also trying to get to know the mess. And they're, doing like, I love the sound bathing. Oh my God, I love sound bathing. And everybody is rocking with it except Blake. When I tell you, he was over there, eyes big, y'all. He's like, I can't really do it because maybe it's because I'm the closest one. I said, no, you know why you can't sit through the spirit bath? Because your chakras is evil. Your stuff is not in line. Your energy is negative. Deep down, you have a very disturbed spirit. So anything like sound bathing that's good to soothe the soul, good to align, things in your life is disturbing all that, just unhealthiness in that chest of yours, Blake. That's all it is. It's just you ain't in line on the inside. Your soul, your spirit, it's not receiving what it needs to receive. But everybody else was just enjoying it. Shoot, a sound bath, I take my ass to sleep. So after they were tasked with, building kind of like this dream board or whatever. So Marcia goes, she of course puts down family, vacation, Rihanna, clothes, basically the life that she wants. Everybody basically did something personal. Then you get to goddamn Blake, and all he did was put watches on the damn board. And he, of course, gave some abstract thing of, time is a luxury. So, nothing is more important than time. So you really got to work to get those things that the luxury things that you want out of life. And so Jeffrey was kind of like real materialistic. He's like, well, I think you kind of missed the point. I'm talking more about, it's the essence of time, how time is important. That's the most important factor. And she was like, right. I think everybody around Blake was kind of like, right. Like, watches? And you want to give this BS excuse of, it's all about time? And time to work hard for the luxury things that we want out of life. Like, I feel like Blake couldn't say, I want a family, or like put down a board of a family because you don't want one. I put down the board of, you didn't put down the woman that you're looking like your dream woman. Like, it's just all of it just screams run, red flag, wrong road. So Marcia was like, well, Jeffrey's got, I kind of sent some bad energy, between you guys on the boat. Like, what happened? And Jeffrey's like, I'm not the one with the problem, so you're going to have to ask Blake. And Blake was like, well, I would like to respectfully decline, talking about the subject, because it does not need to be discussed. And so Jeffrey was like, there are some things, that obviously, what she said basically like, to the extent like, some things are handled or whatever should be handled, by the person, something like that nonetheless. But she definitely took a jab at him. Blake wasn't, he was like, I just, in his confessional, like, I'm just not going to address situations. Jeffrey definitely wants to get a rise out of me. But if there's one thing I've learned in life, it's to always only address things that, are positive in nature. And don't mess with your energy. And it's like, nigga, you got caught. You got busted. Like, it is what it is. So then after that, Marcia and both Jeffrey took away that Blue was where they need to go with. Blue has such a good little dream board, even in a 3D version. Like, everybody was like, okay, Blue, Blake, take your ass home. Like, you know what? All about time. Well, time to drive home. Okay. So what other date was there? Oh, Cynthia and Anthony. Cynthia was smitten boots with Anthony, and he did walk around the corner looking good, okay? He said, "Man, why you smiling?" She said, "Came around that corner looking good." I love Cynthia. She's natural. She doesn't try too hard. You can tell she's a secure woman. And her and Anthony basically had like a really good date. They're looking for the same things, and they vibing with each other. All she know is man was looking good, okay? So then we have a date with Janique and Blake. This was kind of like, huh? So Blake comes in stiff as a board, and Janique's asking questions like, so what do you see for yourself? And he was just kind of like, well, since it's a general question, I'm gonna give a general answer, and that is, I'm just going along with the process, and the future is gonna be what it holds according to that. And it's like, sir, you with these extra feelings, like he is what Dr. Francis calls the philosopher. He's like a Lewis and Marceau combined. Like, they stick to the philosophy of things instead of the reality of things. And they only know how to speak in that realm because they can control, at least in their mind, the science of it all, the manipulation of it all. And it doesn't really ever address the issue to the person at hand because they're stuck on, this philosophy of everything that they have in their mind. And so he's asking about her, like, what you do? And she's talking like, yeah, I just like to hang out with my family, and we just, chill, drink, turn up. And when she said that, I was kind of like, well, this date's a buzz because they ain't got nothing, got shit in common. So she asked Blake about his past, and Blake, y'all, he's an issue. First of all, he's in security, something security. Basically, he was like physical security, technical security. That already in itself, he needs to be like, he's a person of predictability, as in like the security, like the securityness of it all, like it all is something that you're in control of. He needs control. He's a narcissist. Then come to find out he has a past in the the army and special forces. And he was talking about like special forces, and they went into like, I'm pretty sure the way he made it sound was like he was operating, machinery that was taking people out, if you know what I'm saying. So that means he's seen some things, So all of that just screamed red flag, wrong road, bitch, wrong road. Blake is who you need to stay away from. And Janique, at the end of the day, when he didn't even have no questions, he was ready to go. She was too. It was like, okay. She was like, no questions for me. He was like, I think I got everything. Yeah, this date was a bust. So the ladies, they all, of course, get together. Tommy asking them, who they like. Pretty much I forgot about the whole Jeffrey situation. So Jeffrey, she like, I need to meet up with Demetrius. I ain't seen him, and he's kind of been, MIA. I've been messaging him. So she goes in, and of course, she's like, I was glad you made some time because I feel like I haven't seen you, especially at the boat party. He was like, yeah, she was like, you seem to be occupied. He was like, yeah, so were you. She was like, not really. He was like, you was occupied during that game. I was like, ugh. She was like, no, I wasn't. I was over there by myself. He was like, not in the middle of the game. And she was like, what do you mean? He was like, that kiss. So she was like, yeah, it was during the game. Like, what are you talking about? He was like, so, that kiss, what you doing? How am I supposed to, just sit back and watch that? And so for her, she's like, now look, when's the last time I seen you? I'm going towards somebody who's really doing the work, who's really, applying the pressure. And she's like, I went on a date with you and Mark Anthony. He was my last date. And we've been in touch since then. She was like, before the boat, did you ever even reach out to me? And he looking like, with his big old eyes, and his old angular teeth. He talking about, I ain't seen you. She like, right. So if you haven't seen me, nor have you been reaching out to me, why do you feel like I would pick you for a kiss? Nigga was stuck. He was stuck. And it was like, checkmate, bitch. Because like, you niggas, every time we get on Ready to Love, there's always a situation where a guy sees a girl kiss another guy, and he wants to pull this BS like, oh, almost like a little bit of like ownership. Like you went out on one date with her and you felt like you were supposed to, one, get the kiss, and two, she was supposed to turn it down. Out of what connection with you? He was like, well, you could have rejected it. You could have rejected it. Why? Why am I rejecting a kiss from somebody I have a connection with? Because like she said, you not applying no pressure, and he wasn't. So now because he ended up getting checked, his ego got bruised, and he started trying to come back at her, being mean, talking about, well, what do you think your kids would say about that kiss? Excuse me. First of all, don't bring up my kids. Secondly, she's like, my kids would say mommy's making a connection. What do you think my kids would say if a man said he was interested in me but walks past me on the boat? Stuck. Once again, quiet. There was nothing he could say, because at the end of the day, the basis of the argument you have, there's no foundation to it. You're mad at her for kissing a guy that actually has proven to give her energy and be actually attracted to her, you know, check in on her. But she said, I reached out to you, checked in with you, and nothing. So I did my part. The math ain't math, and it's mathing for me, but it ain't for you. And now he's stuck. You feeling like you brought some validity to her, and you really didn't. And she checked your ass, and now your ego hurt. And you in the confessional talk about, oh, I dodged 3 bullets. First off, I ain't even seen her without makeup. Secondly, she doesn't know how. He said she don't know how to take criticism well. And then thirdly, you kissed a stranger. Like, you don't even know this man, nigga. She don't even know you. So she don't even know you. Like, would you have been a stranger? Y'all been on one date. Like, I can't stand men like him. I really cannot. Like, you really thought you had power over that? Ugh, it's so unattractive. Like, nigga, you really not even that cute. I know you think you cute because you tall, light skinned, and got a big body and broad shoulders, but you really not that cute. Like, you not. So yeah, the ladies get together. Basically, half of them is like, I can't do it with Blake. Sue-Ann, of course, sticks up for him. But he's allowed to go for the connections that he wants. Okay, he absolutely can. But Jeffrey's letting it be known, I don't trust the nigga. He, you know, definitely tried to comfort me. Of course, Sue-Ann and Jeffrey going back and forth. You know, Captain Save a nigga, Sue-Ann for her Blake. But everybody else is like, this is not it. Tony, the same thing. A couple of them was like, I like Tony, but, you know, questionable. And then Demetrius, you know, everybody kind of was like, I'm up off him too. And Blake, he tried to comfort Morgan because she wanted, you know, kids or whatever. And everybody's just getting a bad vibe from him. So at the end of the day, they meet with Demetrius or Demarius, whatever his name is, Big Eyes. Both these niggas have big eyes. So Janique meets with, was it Demetrius? Yes. And basically she, you know, tells him, you know, the ladies are kind of confused by you, your connections, the way you were talking to people. You know, obviously the situation with Jeffrey just didn't end well. You not ready to love. Blake ends up staying because, you know, Cynthia basically gave him like a pep talk, like, yo, what's been going on with you? You've kind of been real stiff with the ladies, the way you're speaking. They don't appreciate it. And then the situation with Jeffrey has the ladies confused. Like, you need to address it. That's like, and he literally wants to keep going round and round and round on this carousel, trying to not address it. But nigga, you have to address it. Like she said, you need to say your piece, you know, nip it in the bud and say, this is what it is, and be done. And he's like, oh, you know, I'm just not going to entertain anything that doesn't go towards, you know, my positive energy and, you know, doesn't do anything for me. Narcissist with that fake ass healing, I'm healed above it all BS. Like, men like him, wrong road. So yeah, next week it looks like things are going to get a little interesting between Jeffrey, Blake, and Sue-Ann, you know, Countess Attorney Sue. You know, she going to stand up for her man. But y'all tell me what you feel about Ready to Love, what you guys feel about this season. I just had to talk about it because I really couldn't believe homie was really trying to be on Jeffrey's ass like that. Like, you, who are you, sir? Like, you don't even check up on me. You don't even ask how I'm doing. And then I'm supposed to pick you for a kiss. That's why his ass was stuck with his mouth open. Fly trap looking ass nigga. Let me get off of here. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to check my Instagram and Twitter, and I'm gonna catch y'all later. Deuces.